back to another red hot episode of Celebrity Catwalk. We are here with friend to the show, singer, songwriter, animal activist. ALUS is here with us. Thank you so much. Every couple of months she has to come back and fill us in on what's happening. So thank you very much for making time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, where do we begin? Let's see. So first of all, you were recently in LA, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or even let me back up. First, let me say congratulations on your new song, Cherry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Over 500,000
It's wild.
YouTube views and likes and thumbs up, and it's
crazy.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. We're gonna circle back to Cherry, but
Okay.
please tell me about your trip to LA recently.
Okay. Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for having me.
Oh.
You know I have to come back and say hi to you guys because I love being a part of what you guys stand for. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of traveling, a lot of craziness has been happening. All great things, you know.
Good.
I think that the chaos is in, it's in good order.
Tell us all about it. All about it.
So I do go back and forth to LA. A lot of people just ask me at this point, why don't you just move? I'm going to be back there in another couple weeks. So it's like, it's just keep going back and forth. But that's, where I get a lot of work done. I do a lot of meetings, sessions, a lot of that kind of thing. I went to Disney last time too, which was like a very unexpected treat because I don't get to have fun as much.
Yes.
But it is fun, but it's a lot of work, So it was, it was a good trip the last time, short, but I'm going back in December. So.
Okay, and for those who would not know, is there a difference between working in LA and working in New York?
So for me, I record myself, so I do get a lot of work done when I'm in New York and I'm home. But I also have a lot of relationships with producers and different creatives out in LA. So I do love going there to be in the room with them because it's a different chemistry that happens when you're actually in the room and creating with someone as opposed to them sending you, music and maybe I'm writing on it or something. So, I like actually getting in the room with someone and creating from scratch. That really excites me. So, yeah.
Okay, and you've segued perfectly into something else that I had in mind that I knew I was going to ask you about. You said creating and being in the room, and lately there's been a lot of buzz in the industry about people owning other people's masters, and there was, recently a big brouhaha over a company being bought that someone else had their songs, and now they own. If I buy the company that the record label that you are signed to, I now somehow own your music. How do you, as a creative, or please delve into that because you can give us the real inside as a creative.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a big conversation in music right now, especially with everything that's going on in the music industry. As I've learned so much about the industry, it matters so much more to me because I learned way more about the business, now as opposed to when I was younger. When I was younger, and when I say younger, I mean maybe high school, middle school. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where I didn't really learn about the business aspect. I probably would have just not really understood it or thought, okay, if somebody owns the music, who cares as long as the song is big or whatever. But now, that I'm doing everything 100% myself, it really does matter to me about owning masters, having those types of rights and control to something you created. It's it's kind of sad to see people giving away, not even giving away, losing a lot of their ownership or all of their ownership because that's how the industry works, or maybe that's how the contract was made. So it matters to me as an artist because I write everything alone. Like I said before, I record myself, in my home studio, 90% of the time when I'm not working with somebody in the room. So, it's crazy to think even someone would try to come in and say they had something to do with that when I'm the one who created it alone. It's you might be part of the business aspect, but everybody's situation is different, so it is unfortunate though, I think a lot of the time.
Are you able to protect, how do you protect and kind of hold on to, I guess, your masters or your, for me not knowing any better, I'm saying masters, but I guess your work?
Having a good lawyer.
Okay. Okay, well there you go. There you have
Have
it.
a good lawyer, have a good team behind you. I think like when you're creating business decisions or making business decisions, it's important to have the correct counsel around you. Make the right moves based off of like who knows the legality of it. And ask the right questions. And just because you're creating doesn't mean it's wrong to ask something that you might not know. Everybody thinks like the artist should know everything, blah blah. But a lot of times you're going to have to still do a lot of research along with it. So I mean, the team really matters.
And so it's that team that helps protect your work.
Yeah, I would say so a lot of the time. I mean, you can always be a better business person as an artist, but I think an artist really doesn't do everything themselves. It takes an army to shout out to the ALUS Army.
All right, that was good. That was good.
It takes an army to make these things happen. So the team really can handle those situations for you a lot of the time too.
Gotcha. Please take us through. I can't imagine we never asked you this, but when I was watching the Cherry video, please take us through the process of you're writing the song at home.
Yeah.
Do you see the video when you're writing the song? Please tell me how you take it from beginning to end.
It's crazy. I mean, this is the funniest story to me because it almost happened by accident. I was creating Cherry. I was at home with my cousin, my younger cousin. She's in high school, and we were watching Willy Wonka, right? And so of course, yeah. So like any musical, you always get that one song stuck in your head. Of course, the Oompa Loompa song is just like so iconic. So we kept singing it to each other, joking around. She said to me, sort of like a joke, like you should put this in a song. And I really laughed at the idea and didn't think twice about it. I was like, you're crazy. That's funny though. And then I sat back for a second. And I was like, wait a second. She's in high school, right? She's listening to all this music that's like, very trendy, and like I actually get a lot of ideas from someone like her and figure out like what her friends are listening to. I always ask her like what she's into, because her preference might be different, than mine. So I said maybe she's, a little light bulb went off in my head, and I was like maybe she's onto something. So I said, listen, I'm gonna record in my bedroom. Just stay out, because she's like on her phone, like on Instagram and stuff. I'm like, stay out. I'm gonna record something. I have an idea, and I'll play for you in like a little while. So an hour later, Cherry was playing, and she's like, what? I can't believe you actually wrote this song and did this whole thing, because, initially it just feels like, like a silly joke, but then like sonically, it came out to something that I really enjoyed, and I thought like could be, something awesome. So immediately now this is when I get the video idea, when I hear sonically how it sounds, and it's like I put it on repeat, and then I sit there and I'm like, okay, I can see this color. It starts out with like color palettes. So, and wardrobe ideas, because you always have to, do the wardrobe. So I dressed up like a female Willy Wonka in the video. Yeah. We took the purple theme and we gave it a little bit more feminine.
Yes, yes.
And then we did a lot of different things, like, I really love like Kanye's brand Yeezy, so of course we did like Yeezy season 6. So there's this shot where we are in all like a nude color palette. It's very like beige tones, tans, warm colors, and we're all sitting there, and I have, of course, little people in the video. It's only right to include them because, from the original movie, and it's just crazy. I mean, we came up with I came up with this concept, and I called the director like that night, and I'm like, get ready, because we're gonna shoot a video next week. And it was done. Like, this whole thing happened in like a week or two. It was done, the whole thing. Yeah, it was crazy. It was very fast, and now it has 500,000 views, and I'm like, where did the time go? I just made this like a day ago. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's Cecil. There you go. So do you work? So you just mentioned that example with Cherry. You were sitting and you were watching the movie, but are you mostly nocturnal? Are you mostly daytime? Do you have a pattern, or it's whenever
Girl,
it comes to
I'm
you?
all of it.
Yeah.
I am all of it. I don't think I sleep. People, like, I'll call people late and early just to like let them know, like, if I have a meeting or something or whatever. And they're like, do you sleep? Because it just seems like a lot of the time, like the people on my team, I'm like, yeah, I'm up now. It's like 6 a.m. But then 4 a.m. I was writing the song. And then like 2 p.m. I have a meeting or something. It's just wild. Like, there's really no sleep, but it's very important to include it. So every like couple days, I really catch up on the sleep that's needed.
Okay. Wow.
But I mean, like, at this point, I look at it like, you're not getting any younger, and if you're not, like, I have a very big vision in my head that I need to, make happen and make, and I have this like 5-year plan, and I'm very goal oriented, and like, there's a lot of things I want to see happen, and every morning I wake up just excited because I'm like, this is another day to move forward, and that's really what motivates me. Like every single morning, I don't press snooze anymore. Like I'm literally up when I have to be up, and just getting right to it because there's not enough hours. There's really not enough hours in the day to accomplish everything you need to do. So you can't take anything for granted. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Do you, and would you consider yourself an independent artist? And do you like, I think that's also something that has come under fire, and I've actually even watched some videos that break down the terrible record deals that artists find themselves in, whereas when you are an independent artist, even though there's a tremendous amount more work, like you even just kind of spoke to, you're kind of wearing all of the hats, you really are in the driver's seat. Do you sometimes wish that someone else was doing everything, or now you've had such creative control? Like, I think what didn't they tell Pink that, you can't do this or you can't do that? You probably at this point can't see anyone telling you, don't sing this, don't wear that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Right. I pretty much ended. I pretty much asked and answered my own question.
No, but it's true. I mean, as an artist, like a couple years ago, I had a lot of people saying those things around me, like, you look better in this, or you should wear, and like, things like that, or like, you can afford to lose a couple pounds, and I'm like, oh no,
dear.
You didn't. No, but it's nothing was meant to be harmful. I understood it was all business. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's about your career, kind of thing. At this point, I'm mentally, emotionally, physically in a place where I do make a lot of my decisions, and I think I've got a lot done because I've made a lot of the correct decisions because of my my intuition and what I feel like is the right thing to do at the time. I know that sounds like very artisty, like, oh, it just feels right. But a lot of the times, like, it's never steered me wrong, actually. So a lot of the decisions that I've made recently, like even with deciding to put out like certain music, I'm sure if I was, with a certain manager or whoever it is, they would tell me to like maybe not do that. But I think that the energy that I have is just like, it's very persistent, and I think working independently at the rate that I feel like I'm going, it's just going to propel me forward, because a lot of times people sit back and they don't put the work in like I do, that that I've met that have been on my team before.
Yes.
So that's why they're not on my team anyway.
There you
but
go.
there are people that are still with me today that understand that about me, and they understand it's really not something they can control, and there's like a lot of great things happening. So no one can complain, you know what I mean?
Right,
And it's good.
right, absolutely. Yeah. There's been a proliferation of music shows, singing competitions. Do you have any thoughts? Would you have ever considered going on The Voice or American Idol or I don't even want to say The Masked Singer, because I can't believe it's such a hit, but you know what I mean? There's just as I think there are even more coming out this fall or 2020. Do you have any thoughts, being, again, from an inside perspective, do you feel any way about this wave of music competition shows, if you will?
I enjoy it for entertainment purposes.
Okay.
As an artist, not my scene. I have been asked to be on, actually, I'm not going to say which ones, but
okay.
A couple of the shows that you listed. So yeah, no, it's just not my scene. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. It's not my thing. I'm more of like a creative, where I like to like release the content and do all these great things, and maybe a lot of the artists on there haven't even done those things, and maybe they use that as a vehicle to get to that place. So right. I kind of look at it like, I'm already doing a lot of the things I want to do, maybe not on the scale as to where I see myself yet, but definitely working towards it, and also the legality of it. Let's just be honest, like those kind of shows will tie you into contracts. Yeah. And I hate to say that, because I'm not trying to steer, I think those shows are great. Like I would watch them for The Masked Singer is great. Now, to clarify, I've never been asked to do that one, but like, I see it trending on Twitter. I watch like the little videos. I think it's great, yeah. But not my scene, but I enjoy it as a consumer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But just not not for you. Understood. Got it. Absolutely. And also, who is on your plate? Like, if this were 8 years ago, I might say to you, who are you listening to on your iPod? You know, so if I was
bring the
dating
iPad back.
myself, they should bring the
I missed
iPad
that
back,
little
right?
thing,
That
you know,
little
a little
thing.
shuffle.
Exactly,
and
exactly. So who's on your virtual, if you will, shuffle right now, or are there any artists that you really get inspiration from or admire?
Yeah. Lately, Kanye's album has been on loop. Yeah, I really love that album. I don't know, I mean, everybody always has mixed opinions when it comes to rap music. I know it's like a whole conversation, I won't even like go into that, but I enjoy it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think like, especially sonically, I was telling a couple of my friends this recently, like, I love harmonies, I love like vocals, like I'm a vocalist at the end of the day, so anything that's like melodic and harmonies and, like he had the choir, on the whole album and that kind of stuff, it just, I also ended up going to his Sunday service and the listening party for the album. So when I was there, like I heard it, before it was out and I was like, oh my God, this is like next level. Like I think it's great. I mean, other people can have their opinions, but I love it. So it inspired me, I mean, in a way, especially the things he's talking about. He's not necessarily talking about the things that are in music. And sometimes I feel like talking about something different. And so when I hear someone like Kanye do that, I'm like, I could maybe talk about something different, or I can do something different. You know what I mean? Like it gives me that experimental, like, vibe kind of thing.
Right. So from an artist perspective, we'll take away, like you said, everyone has an opinion on him, on that, on the whole Sunday service thing. But from a creative and artist point of view, you found it interesting and entertaining and uplifting and inspiring.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. There it is. Also really enjoyed, you did kind of like a Drake tribute, which was really good. I think you'd done it a while ago, and then for his birthday, I think you reposted it. Yes.
Drake's great.
So Drake is good. So anyone else who you're listening to, so to speak, on your Spotify playlist?
Believe it or not, I mean, my playlist has been a lot of 80s music lately. Okay. I know that's like wild, but it's because it has something to do with what I'm creating right now. It's not out in the world yet, but sonically, I love like 80s synths and like, just like a bunch of different records. I mean, it's a plethora of things, but I really draw inspiration from like everything. I mean, I always go back to Madonna and Michael Jackson whenever I'm stuck in like a moment. I'll just like, I have like books at home where I'll like open them, even like fashion-wise, I'll be pulling up like archives of like Madonna at the Grammys or something. So I just think the icons are always something you can pull from, because obviously they got there for a reason.
That's okay. There you go. That's interesting. Madonna has come under fire. Funny you should say Madonna. She has come under fire lately for starting her concerts like 3 hours late.
How are you going to blame her? She's Madonna.
Okay, so your thoughts on that from one artist to another?
Listen, like Madonna does no wrong to me. Like that woman. I mean, like if you're in the audience and you're having an issue, like, you're gonna see Madonna, so like, just enjoy it. 3 hours later, 8 hours later, if I was in the crowd, I'd be like, girl, you take your time. I will wait all day for you. Like if I did that, like who would be like, like no one's gonna wait 3 hours for me, but like Madonna, hello. But I mean, people have their own opinions. I guess when you're a fan and you buy a ticket, and and you expect something, like I've seen that happen. Like I've opened up for other artists and they were late after me, and like people were mad at me, when I was on stage opening for them. Like I had something to do with their lateness, because I'm on, they want to see that person at that time. So I've seen like a lot of crazy things happen, but I guess as a fan, like I can't blame the fan, because they made the artist who the artist is, and also they're there for they bought a ticket, they you plan your evening or whatever it is for this particular event, and you can't be mad at them. But when it comes to Madonna,
that's
she can do
I've
whatever
touched
she
the
wants.
nerve there. That's a trigger for you. I understand. I love it. Do you have a preference? Like if you had to say, singing. I mean, I guess singing wouldn't be a no-brainer, but in your arsenal, if you will, songwriting, the creative process, the performing. Do you have a favorite or a least favorite?
Yeah. That's a good question. It depends, like when I'm recording a song, I get this like, this sounds super like hippie of me, but like I get this energy that's like, I just swear it's not like anything else I've ever experienced. Like it's like a natural high. You know what I mean? Like when I'm on stage, it's a natural high. Like those, like maybe it's like a 15, 10-minute set, like however long the set is for that time, like nothing in the world feels as great as that moment. Because you're entertained, you know, like everybody's there to have a great time. You're entertaining. Obviously people know the words, they're singing along with you. It's like this magic that happens in the room and nothing compares to that. And, like, I've never done a drug in my life, but if I did do a drug, like, this was probably way better than that.
That would be it, right.
You know what I mean? And, like, and then also recording. I mean, I get that same feeling. Like, I feel like I'm, like, you know, like your chakra or whatever you want. I don't know really what the terminology of this is. It's like vibrating at a different level than, you know, when you're just, you know, everyday life, you know, when you're, like, walking around. It's just, like, a different energy. So, overall, on stage is probably my favorite place to be. Okay. And then in the studio when I'm in my own emotions and, like, creating, that's probably comes right behind it, yeah.
Okay. So performing and recording are amongst the top.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I get that. I absolutely get that. But then are you writing all of your own?
Yeah. Every single thing. So a lot of producers will send me tracks, and especially if they're like from like, you know, Europe or something where obviously it's very difficult for us to get in the same room at the same time. They'll send me tracks and I'll just pull it up in Pro Tools. Like I have a whole setup. I have, you know, a lot of people ask me what I use. I use Pro Tools, like no secret. Everybody uses like this, the industry standard.
Okay.
I have a 103 microphone. It's a Neumann. It's a great mic. You see, like, you know, on my YouTube videos, you see it in all the covers. You know, so I have all the equipment. I've learned from a lot of people in the industry how to properly record using the right presets, you know, using the correct, like, you know, like even reverb, like anything that, you know, makes my voice, you know, sound its best. So, you know, I've become like an engineer at this point, and I record myself. I mean, at this, you know, when I go to LA sometimes and I'm in a session, if the engineer even like has to leave early, they're like, ALUS, can you fill in? I'm like, okay, like, cause they know I'm good. I'm quick too. Like I got pretty sick on the equipment. So I do everything myself. I mean, that's the best way that I've realized I've worked thus far. I love collaborating and like working with another songwriter. Don't get me wrong, that's great. But when I'm like I get into like this vibe where everything just starts, like I'll start to record melodies first, right? And I'll be like, and like I'll start, and then all of a sudden words will just come out of my mouth. I swear, I don't know like where they come from. And then I start to realize by what I'm saying, like that's how I'm feeling. I'm like, oh, this is how I feel lately. Okay. I'm like, you know, so those, you know, those kinds of things affect my song, you know, the mood I'm in, that kind of thing. So at this point, yeah, everything's alone, unless somebody asks to do, you know, a session with me, and I'm always open to collaboration. But 90% of the time, it's like me.
And so, can a producer send you lyrics, or you will only record your own lyrics?
I usually say no. Like, I hate to be listen, if the producer is like Max Martin, he could send me a whole song. I will record that all day, you know what I mean? Like, because there's certain, you know, like producers or songwriters that I, you know, like idolize. I'm like, that I study their writing, and that's how I try to, you know, use my formula to kind of like mimic maybe theirs, because they obviously have had so many hits or something, you know? But if it's just like, somebody, especially if they don't really know me and they're just trying to send me a song, I don't like relate to just anything, you know what I mean? Like, or it has to be like fantastic for me to just be like, oh, I'll record this. It all depends on like the content or the quality of the content. So I'm open to it, but I just feel more comfortable writing my own things because I know what I want to say, you know?
Got you. So there has to be, for you, there has to be a connection. There has to be some kind of a connection to what it is.
And I want to say, you know, like a lot of times I'll get these records that are talking about like love, and I'm just not in that place right now. I hate to say it, like I love my fans, I love my family, I love my friends, but I'm not like in love with anybody, you know? And I don't know, maybe that will change, I don't know. But like if somebody sends me a song that's like an Adele-esque kind of record and she's talking about love, even if it's a great song, if I can't like feel it, I can't feel it, you know? So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, we can't let you go without touching on the little, I saw an adorable picture of you and Dash on the gram. How are the fur kids, and what's happening on that end?
So my little baby Dash is like, having a dog is like having a child. I have I have friends with children, and I'm looking at them like, I think that's what I do with my dog. I like, doing everything, feeding them, taking them outside. It's like, it's a lot of responsibility. And lately, my mom has been watching my pets because it's so, you obviously don't want to be selfish. I think the worst thing that a person could be is selfish with an animal. It's like you want a pet for yourself. But if you don't have the time, I think it's awful for someone to get a pet. You can admire pets from afar, But Dash is my baby. He's been in my life since I was like 11. So, yeah, how many years is that? I don't know. I'm not good at math. But
okay,
good at songwriting, but not good at.
He's been around for a while.
For a while, so he's my baby. He's my little. And I also have a cat, but his name is Percy. So we love them both. These are probably I hate to say this, but it's probably the last pets I'm gonna have to get for a while because it's just too crazy. To fit. If you have more freedom, maybe, yeah. But family members are great for that,
Good. So their grandma, if you will, is pitching in and watching. And cats, God bless them, are so independent and easy. So Percy probably just looks at you and is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And
I would like to think that, but he's like the biggest cuddler and wants attention, and I love it. It's so exciting. Like when I'm home and I'm like, "Hey, anybody want to cuddle with me?" Dash is more so like the one that's like, "I'm good, I want my bone," and then Percy will just do the big spoon, little spoon thing and kind of get near me, and I just love it so much. They're both rescues too.
That's wonderful. You are a rescue mom as well. That is wonderful. That's wonderful. So, any projects that you can share with us that on what's coming up? Please give us the tea.
Yeah, because it's the end of the year, I'm starting to I guess say this more, especially in interviews now, because I feel comfortable saying it. I'm going to be releasing new music all next year. I'm actually going to be releasing one song a week for the entire year. So that's 52 records. Yeah. So for the entire, I know it's wild. It's the craziest thing. People are like, why ALUS? That's a lot of music. Are people gonna listen? I'm like, I just want to throw out. I've recorded hundreds of songs in the past couple of years, and I just sit back and go we'll send them out for placements. I'll send them to we'll send them to whoever's looking for their album, right? But at this point, instead of holding on to those songs, I'm like, I just have to release them. I have to let people grow with me and hear what I've been doing sonically because, as time goes on, I keep writing for who I am in that moment, and those songs are from the past in a way. So a lot of the stuff is a little bit older, but it's still sonically appropriate for right now. So it's wild, but 52 songs next year.
52, okay, 2020, wonderful. ALUS, thank you so much for coming. We'll be having you back in 2020 so that maybe we can talk. You'll have a lot of music to talk about then, and we'll hear about then. Thank you very much for catching us on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Be sure to follow ALUS. That's ALUS. She's on Instagram. You're on all the socials. Yeah. Be sure to follow her. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're catching us on YouTube. And we'll see you on the next episode of Celebrity Catwalk. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.